Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast that we do every week without fail. I don't fuck up, I swear to God.
Uh, we
Um,
we've been doing this for 5 years now.
and the sad thing is, like, I know why I had the problem this past week, and it's because I'm on overtime. So it's like I came home, laid down, and that was it.
That was it.
That was it. But even without that, like, I don't have an excuse before we hit overtime. 5 years, and it's not like we've changed days on this. This has
Right?
always been on Tuesday. At least
We-
the writer podcast that we have apparently just up and dropped has changed days because it was on Wednesday, then it was on Thursday. Well, originally it was on Thursday, and then it went to Wednesday and Thursday because scheduling and all that. But anyways, I'm Vashi V, and joining me today is
right. Welcome to Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. Because we missed last week for inexplicable reasons, we have
don't know
a
what that could have been.
we have a double feature this time. Uh, Hopefully the last one of the series.
I mean, there's only 4 episodes left, so I kind
Yeah.
of hope so.
So welcome to episode 44. This is something that we've been waiting for ever since Zogs was introduced. The episode that we knew was coming towards the end, and I've just been waiting for it.
The culmination of his entire story.
So we start off with Bakuwas being upset. The conquest isn't going well. There are traitors. He's cycled all the way from rage to just apathy. Like,
That's how pissed off he got.
not even his precious Gege has wanted attention lately. I
Wait,
don't?
what?
Oh, can I ask for a favor? Yes, yes, anything, anything. Uh,
Ah.
so
The ramifications that all of this has.
we've gotten confirmation in the episode after this one, but that one made me think two things. Like, so is that Stacy in there? Did they switch bodies, or no? It kind of seemed like he was just on autopilot, even.
Right, like it. I mean, we got confirmation for it in the next episodes, like, but not for the not. It's not the confirmation I wanted. I will say that now. But I had the idea, especially in this episode, seemed to hammer that home that because with the rumors for Dawn Brothers with Gage supposedly supposed to being one of the members of the Oni clan, like it was to me, I just ran it as for whatever reason he got trapped in the bird, and then he's been playing the long game to get the Oni world released. Which, to be fair, even with the confirmation we got, still a possibility. Um, but that's where my brain went. That Gage had its own intelligence. Whatever happened happened, and now this Gage is now also there, which does explain the two sidedness that Barashitara kept seeing. Same thing with Stacy and Kaito.
And so, the way that he felt here, like on autopilot, was just like that's what stuck out to me. Because it didn't really seem to. Because I thought about it, I was like maybe Stacy and him switch bodies, but then I thought about it, and I thought about how little sense that makes. Because if Stacy didn't do it willingly, then he'd be making a ruckus,
Right, like
and
somehow.
why would he do it willingly? Like, what is he gaining from this that he would have agreed to it? So that's why I thought that like autopilot made more sense.
Yeah, it does.
Uh, so our pirates are enjoying themselves, uh, just out on the day. There's a half price sale on what is it, curry, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was curry. It
Or
was either that or
takoyaki.
takoyaki. It
Yeah,
doesn't like it's that or
it,
takoyaki.
it was takoyaki. When suddenly they are attacked by SD World, the one Zox has been waiting for this whole time. By liberating SD World, they'll be able to go back and look for a way to restore his brothers to normal.
What a great gift from Gage Stacy. Um, before we get into further episodes, did you recognize SD World in any way?
Let me take another look at it. 'Cause, it's been a couple of weeks, but what the? Now that I'm actually looking at his head,
Yeah, it kind of looks
oh,
like that, doesn't it?
uh, oh, watch stream. What?
Oh, I didn't realize that popped up asking. Um, yeah, it's Denson.
Oh, that's really cool. So it's kind of like the SD version of that. Okay,
Yeah, of
yeah,
Denson.
yeah, that's cool.
I've just realized I could do that.
Yeah, because I was looking at like, yeah, now that you mention it, it does kind of look like a mech. Oh, it's specifically that one.
They just stuck an S on his head.
They did.
They did a shitty version of it,
You
just
think
stuck an
that's
S on
why
it.
they chose that one? Because the deal was already there?
Probably.
uh,
Because beyond that, from what I've read up for Denji Man, is like there's not much of a parallel or any theme wise that I could think of for this monster or this episode.
so, Gowan and Vroom and some civilians nearby get turned SD. Uh, and
Oh,
Zox, he just turns immediate serious mode.
oh yeah,
Like,
this is one of the this that fucking finally took you long enough. I'm time. It's go time.
Kaiju gear, no dancing.
I didn't realize how much I was gonna miss that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I have come full fucking circle with that shit.
Oh, you hated it.
I despised it for
You
the
loved it
longest time.
every
The
time
longer,
the monsters made fun of him for it.
right? It's like, and then we get to this point, and it's like, no, it's not there. No,
And now you miss it.
it's a little sad how much
Oh,
annoying what you find annoying can grow on.
that's a story arc right there.
Yes, that is character growth. Damn it.
Oh. Uh, uh.
Um. Also, was I the only one who was initially a little disappointed that the SD versions of the characters didn't look anything close to Cutner or Ricky?
I
I
was
get
thinking,
production,
I was thinking
so
about it as like,
production wise, it makes sense.
yeah, just mass produce the same base model and paint him
But I can actually explain it in the show too.
because they were transformed differently.
Yes, because this was the power
Katana
of
and Riki were actually cursed by
cursed
the
by the
world
world.
itself. This is
Yeah,
just like the bootleg version.
yeah. Like it just harvested the power and it got scaled down.
So Kaido and the others join in the fight, but Zox isn't here to have them help. This is his fight that needs to be won. Flint tries to join in too, but then Zox has to jump in to protect her from getting shot, and so his transforming device gets shrunk.
I hate that joke.
Which joke?
The small changer.
Why?
Because how it's resolved, I hate that.
Oh.
I like how it works in the show, but I hate the fact that by that point Flint was able to do that.
Well, with the rest of the Kikai Noids turned SD, uh, Kaido grabs everyone and bails. And then Stacy comes up for a chat. How do you like my little gift? How did you know that was the word we were looking for? I saw your brothers.
Quite literally, that was it. Like the fact, the sad thing is like this shows the intelligence of Stacy, well, Gage Stacy, as more intelligent than any other member of Toji Tendo, because no one else figured that out. Which again leads
Well,
credence to the idea for Dawn Brothers.
Leads credence to what Geach says in the next episode.
Right. And even further with the explanation I shot you during that. Because it makes me feel like Toji Tendo weren't exactly world hopping. Just the fact that they were aware of them. And then found a way to do what they did.
No, the base of operations, Toji Tendo headquarters, that's in Kikaitopia.
Right.
That's not some alien ship in space like we get every other season. Like, no, that's just in Kikaitopia. That didn't go anywhere.
Right. It's like, but usually we get oh, this is why we know about this, because we were hopping through a world the way they ended up merging here. But that's not the case. I feel that this leads credence to that not being the case. Because Gage was the only one who was able to make the connection when anybody else that would have been aware of all this should have made it.
So, sorry. Everyone is ready to get back out there and try and fight again, but Zox isn't accepting any help. He can't fight and protect Flint, and you know which one he's going to choose. So he thinks it's best that she stays behind. She and the brothers. Not only that,
in defense, he's not really wrong.
Right. The way he explains it, it comes out much worse than what I said. But
right.
Because he tells her, like, you're only going to get in the way. But, like, really, what he means is,
I can't focus.
He literally gets distracted whenever she's in danger. Like, suddenly that is top priority.
Which, honestly, like,
it's one of his good points.
It is, and now that I think about it, it's like, I'm more amazed that hasn't been a thing as much as it has.
He's never...
more than it has. We had one or two moments where Flint is in danger.
It hasn't been as serious as now, because he doesn't want to see what happened to his brothers happen to her as well.
Right. I'm just more in the, we don't... Typically with... I guess it's more writer, like, they will have a tendency more to target, like, the loved ones or, like, special,
Right.
For Saber, it was targeting my,
Normally he trusts her to handle herself, but he
Right.
can't. He doesn't want to take any chances here.
Right.
And as captain of this ship, he has made an order.
It's still up for debate if he's captain.
Technically,
Oh, there's a ghost that keeps popping up, going, "No, fuck you, I'm captain." Apparently,
that happened once.
but once is enough.
That ghost isn't here anymore. Zox is captain. Uh, in the rain, unable to transform, Zox approaches SD World, flintlock and cutlass in hand.
This is an episode that I really enjoyed for one major reason.
Go on.
This episode 100% had Gokaiger flashback.
Yes,
Like,
that
completely.
that his character is a Gokaiger callback, like the whole like "let's make it showy too"
Me
kind of
too.
catchphrase, like just the way like he parades himself around is a very Gokaiger-esque thing to do.
In my head, Zox, like, the way Zox behaves is like as if Marvelous and Guy had a kid. Because on one hand, he's calm, cool, collected, kind of a dick.
But he's also high
On the
energy.
other hand, he's a high energy child. you know. But yeah, like him fighting with the sword and flintlock was fantastic, and 100% was Gokaiger energy.
But Kaido shows up anyways. Kaido and the Kikainoids. I thought
Because
you were
of course
going.
they do.
I thought you were going around helping the people that had gotten turned SD. Yatsude and some friends from Colorful are helping.
I
And
like how Kaito said that because to me it came across as like, did you forget what friends are?
no, like when it does the shot of like the group like picking everyone out of the water and such, like those are recurring background characters that they've helped.
Right. It's like, but like when Kaito pointed that out, it's like to me it came across as Kaito looking at Zox going, did you forget what friends
Oh,
are?
did Zox forget what friends are? Yes,
Yeah,
he did.
because he doesn't have any.
Not true. Kaido wouldn't be here if they weren't friends.
He won't openly admit he has friends. He hasn't admitted it to himself.
uh, even Flint and the brothers are here because she made tiny gears.
It's so stupid.
It's great. I love it. I love seeing him do the dance on like the
That's the
really
best part
tiny
of it.
one.
And the fact that they miniaturized the voice and all that for it was amazing. I will not argue that. That was the highlight of I
S-
just hate the fact that she made itty bitty tiny gears.
the SD roll call followed up by that. Like, all of which follows up Zox's super serious, like, I'm the stoic loner type moment. Just highlights, like, how this show handles comedy.
Amazingly enough, very well, as ridiculous and over the top it constantly is.
Because it never. Like, the tonal change didn't feel drastic. They leaned into it well, and the whole thing felt appropriate. It never felt like it broke the mood. Like, no, this felt like natural pacing. From
Right,
going from super serious to, like, tension relieving, like, here's something a little silly.
right. Like this show is like as much as I have given it crap for its over the topness when it comes to the comedy. It does it perfectly.
Yeah, no, it
Like
executes it.
like there were points in Kira Major where it was questionable. Like some of the comedy was a little bit more on the questionable side and slightly tone breaking. But this, because we've had 40, before this we've had 43 episodes of this exact type of shit. Like
And
nothing feels like forced or just thrown in for the sake of relieving tension or anything else like that. It just
everything
works.
feels like it fits. Never once have I thought like, oh, this is cringy or this is too much or over the top. Like even the over the top stuff is like, holy shit, this is what this show is.
Right. Like the closest I got to ever thinking something was ridiculous and over the top is also something I fucking enjoyed the hell out of. And that was um the trash episode
I would say
where
most.
Vroom's bombarded by the trash but still does his roll call from
I was gonna say I would say like most of like the roll calls.
that's the majority of it.
Like you
But again,
remember
it made
you
sense.
remember early on there was one where like they were running down an alley while doing it? Or the fucking train one that they had to like keep moving?
I still think the Jurin one was the best, the invisibility one.
Is this okay?
Okay. But like because of that, and because we've had 43 episodes of that type of shit, when they do it here, it doesn't break anything. It
And
literally comes across as par for the course.
while everyone else takes care of the grunts so Zoc can focus on SD World with Flint as backup, he still gets his serious cool moment where he solos the monster. And not actually solos it though, because he's got his family there to help him.
Like it was 100%. It was just fantastic. Like the rains, like even so much as just like the visual trope of like the rain stopping once Kaito got there and they
Right, once he
decided
wasn't
on,
alone.
yeah, and once he understood why Kaito's his whole thing is like, I'm not here to help you. I told you we're gonna help all of these people. Just happens to be we got to kick
Yeah,
the crap out of him to do it.
this isn't just your problem. How many times has Zox helped them out?
Way more than was necessary.
He talks
Beyond the
about
fact that
paying
he's
his
arranging.
debts. Looks like he's bad at collecting them.
Just a little bit. I mean, to be fair, he did call him square because of the helping Isao.
Right.
Like that's the furthest he's gone to collect the debt.
Full power Zenkai mech fight. I forget how this fight ended.
It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best ending to a fight or to a mech fight.
Oh, yeah, the pirates come in with like a cannon that they don't normally use.
Yeah, and then just straight
And
and
then
actually just Ricky and Cutner just beat the
yeah,
shit
they
out of
just
them.
go ham on the monster. Like this is their moment. Because SD World is what cursed them, the real one. So this is kind of like them getting theirs.
I will admit, to me, this still wasn't the best finisher for a mech fight, because I'm sorry, the best finisher for the mech fight was a couple of episodes ago, and unfortunately, I feel should be used every fucking time.
Was it the orbital beam cannon?
Yes, the orbital beam cannon. How that hasn't been used before now and constantly, I don't know.
No wind in space.
I guess they just want to make it sporting.
Yeah, no, like the mech fights only exist to sell toys, so
Right.
make them showy.
Right, but once you give a character an orbital shot cannon, then it makes the mech fights kind of pointless.
Entertainment value isn't pointless.
Well, I meant like story wise.
Story. Well,
it's
that's
more,
where suspension of disbelief comes in.
right. Which, to be fair, suspended disbelief for 45 episodes.
This whole
You kind of
show.
have to with this show.
The pirates say their goodbyes, and Yatsude gives them some supplies for their journey. And Zox leaves Kaido with some parting words. You can't trust Stacy the way he is now.
Not necessarily wrong.
Sarah, bye!
Don't forget the I love yous. Which I was not expecting.
And they head off Dusty World to look for a cure for Katana and Riki. Off in the distance, Stacy sees them off as well, with a parting gift. Pirate World. Psh. Freed. He gave them an excuse to leave and a reason to not need to come back.
Stacy is really overestimating a Sentai team.
Yeah. I get what his thought process was, but he doesn't understand friendship.
He doesn't understand friendship, and he also doesn't understand, dude, you can wait. It could take 10 years. They're gonna meet back up again.
10 years later.
This past one was great. Since we're on the topic of Zox, the Gokaiger one was great.
I haven't watched it yet.
You need to, if only for the explanation to get the story behind the eye patch.
Did he shoot his eye out?
No, I wish that was the case. It wouldn't have been as stupid and funny.
Oh, so the actual answer is stupid?
Yes. And you have to wait for the post-credit scene to get it.
Wait, does he just have the eye patch unexplained the entire movie, and then post-credits, somebody asks him?
Yes. They basically look at him and goes, you know we can, go get you, a bionic eye or something, right? And he goes, yeah, no. And then explains it. And it's the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Based on that, my guess is that he didn't lose the eye. He's just wearing the eye patch.
Yes, but he's actually wearing it for a reason.
If I am correct, actual pirates would wear it to keep that eye adjusted to darkness, so that if they went somewhere dark, they switch over and it's like...
That is accurate. That is not why he's wearing it.
Oh.
I wish that was the reason he was wearing it. We can get into that.
That's another thing. So, episode 45. Stacy returns to Colorful again, and we see Yatsude make the sundae for him this time. As she sings the ingredients as she puts it together. So you can make your own at home, kids. Honestly, I'd have to check again, but the first time I was like, did I miss something, or was that not a very comprehensive sundae?
It didn't seem to be. Which, to be fair, wouldn't be explained why it's sold in a snack shop.
He enjoys his dessert and takes his leave. And that's when Kaido turns and asks, okay, Yatsude, did Satoshi seem different to you? You know, he seems less lonely now. Like the cloud's been lifted. Yeah, that has been noticed.
That is exceedingly accurate.
I mean, people can change over the slightest thing. Look at Magi-chan. She used to be so shy and timid. She's really grown into her own now.
Still sucks at fortune telling.
But that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
As
much as I wish it wasn't. As much as I wish it was.
Because today's monster of the week is Omikuji World. If you don't know what an Omikuji is, uh, at it's basically a fortune teller. Like at New Year's, like you pray at the shrine, and then you go and like you put in a coin, and you get your fortune for the year, like good luck or very bad luck.
Yeah. It's a fucking
So,
episode.
so the monster is going around giving everyone various amounts of bad luck, like some bad luck to very bad luck, like, and it just keeps piling on. So
And
when
I hate to say it, the way it works was brilliant.
Yeah, anytime you open something or pick something up, like, there's your fortune.
Like it added like an extra level of this is a problem.
Yeah, like, so imagine in Rome when they first encounter him, just get bodied by the bad luck, not even by the monster. He's gone by the time the others show up. Uh,
Was that when the banana joke was there again?
yes, that
Okay.
that was the banana joke when they slid on the banana peel.
I do like the fact they keep bringing that back.
Did you
And it is not overdone.
So Ijirude kind of boasts to Bakuwas about how this is their chance, like this world will really like help them dominate. And Barkshitar points out like, you seem to be trying extra hard lately.
Yeah. It's what happens when you fuck up a lot, kids.
But Bakuwas doesn't care because this could be their best chance to defeat the Zenkaigers, right, Geej? Especially with those irritating pirates gone. Oh, and that was because of your brilliant idea, that world that you sent out. I did?
I did what now?
Oh, yes, I did. So this kind of confirms my suspicions that, like, he's just been on autopilot and while Geach has been in Stacy's
You
body.
see.
And he can just kind of, like, connect back and forth like a wireless internet.
Right, like the part that threw me off with this, like how we seem to get it for this episode versus how we got it before, is like in this episode he straight up leaves Stacy to go back to Gage.
Which, the implication is I did that before to, like, send out SD World.
Right, whereas we get an earlier episode where he's in Stacy and it flips over to Bakwas and them talking, and Gage is Gage.
Not
Like,
necessarily. Geach was
or at
just
least
in
it seemed like it.
just the autopilot mode, which
But it
isn't
didn't
as
seem but it didn't seem as like downtrodden. It seemed like, hey, I need something. Like it came across as Gage, not autopilot.
I don't
But
know.
that could have also been the fact that at that point Stacy was off screen,
Right.
and there could have been an undetermined time jump or whatever.
But yeah, for this particular point, like, he leaves Stacy's body for an extended period of time. Long enough for Stacy to wake up in a hotel and wonder where the fuck he is.
To me, this had the best joke.
Was it Stacy's music video on the TV?
Yes, because I have in my head that Gage took Stacy and filmed that.
I didn't even know that existed before this episode.
I had no idea.
It's so emotional.
This is a show like just for this episode. I want that to be like officially subtitled by Job Factory, just so we get the song lyrics.
So Stacy has a momentary confusion of like, what have I been doing? And then remembers everything that happened while Gige was controlling him. But he doesn't realize that it wasn't him who did those things. So as far as he knows, he did all that.
Like subconsciously.
And that he's just having some weird memory lapse. Which puts him in a weird position. I swore I'd never go and see her again.
But I did. Shit.
Meanwhile, Gige is doing something
Oh,
with the parallel world gate, and Barashitara is noticing.
I give him credit for noticing,
He
because
he's
he's one of
been
the few characters that's picked up on it.
he's been on Gige's ship for like 10 episodes now.
Like, because before that is like Stacy got onto it, but not enough to be like
Not enough
as
to do anything
definitive
nor actually
Barashitara.
care.
Right, because he had his own shit to deal with.
But Barashitara is like, hold up, something suspicious is going on here. I can't prove anything yet, so I'm just gonna keep my eye out. Meanwhile, the Zenkaigers encounter Omikuji World again and call him out for only handing out bad fortunes. Like, there should be good fortunes too. He's like, I can hand out good
You're right.
fortunes. Watch this! And hands out good fortunes to the grunts. And good fortune for them means bad fortune for the heroes. It was fun seeing them yuck it up.
Like that's the thing. Like they've done that quite a bit in this show, and they do it very well. It's like, and I do want to point something out because I'm sure I've brought it up before, but 45 episodes into it, the fact that the suit actors for Durin, Majin, Broom, and Gowan have absolutely killed it this season. Like,
Yeah.
usually we get, well, one, maybe two people who are, suited characters in and out of transformation. Um, like uh, Q Ranger Black, Balance, and Shogun Potent, so on and so
Champ.
forth. But the amount of emotion that they're putting off and portraying, like it's different than just the regular suit actor for the fights, because those are limited, and we have the characters' faces and emotions to go off of in the normal shows. We don't really have that here because it's just another suit. So the fact that they're doing so well to bring across how much these characters have grown, even when they're just yucking it up and stuff like that, is like these suit actors for the show are
That
fucking
was
phenomenal.
that was one of my complaints with that like Power Rangers movie a few years ago, where they're finally in suit and you get like not even 10 minutes of them fighting in suit before they jump into the mechs and take their faceplates off.
Right.
And I made a comment how I didn't like that, and the argument was like, well, it's so that the actors can, act. Suit acting is also acting, and
Yes.
it's kind of the main thing about this franchise.
Right. Like, and the sad thing is, like, you go back and you watch like the '90s version of the '90s Power Rangers movie.
They suit act.
They shoot at.
They do the over the top like dramatic poses. Like they go for it.
Right. I mean, Turbo. The Turbo movie I give a pass on because that was just an extended fucking episode. Like there
That
really wasn't anything.
that was a rush job because that wasn't the movie they wanted to make.
Right, but like in terms of the movie, like once it gets into like the turbo section of that movie, it's just an extended Turbo episode.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing is more over the top than it is in the normal show. Whereas with the original movie, it was extra. But yeah, it's like suit acting is damn important in these type of shows.
Like,
I think that's part of the issue I had with Super Mega Force, like Mega Force going into Super Mega Force, is like because the characters didn't fit.
right, these are completely different personalities, with black to green being the most dramatic change,
Right,
that they
right.
give a half-assed explanation of like, oh man, I'm so overflowing with energy I can't contain myself. Like, fuck you.
Which again also doesn't explain the "I'm a coward when fighting."
All right, those are
That was green.
Gosei Black and Gokai Green are two completely different characters. I'm talking like opposite ends of the
So the
spectrum.
spec in
Gosei Black will go up and punch you in the face. Gokai Green will hide behind a barrel, and then when you get too close, he'll panic and kick the barrel at you as a reflex.
while rolling to another one. Like it's why I hated because and this what this Sentai has done phenomenally well of matching, despite the fact that for the most part, season to season, it's almost always like the same suit act with some variations. But like for the main, like for red's always red because it they run the same way that like Rider does, where they have their set people and they'll swap them out just to give different nuances to a character for the next show. But it's one guy basically portraying, 9 or 12 different reds. So his ability to match the suit acting to each specific character, they are damn good at what they do.
Like, going from the Mighty Morphing suits to Zeo was fine, because the Zeo actors were, like, the suits weren't exaggerations of any kind of like personality. Like, they were pretty standard. Like, we're government officials, we do things properly, we know how to handle this. So, like, yeah, you know what? This is a pretty smooth transition. There's nothing too over the top here.
And you went to Turbo.
And that was way over the top. Like the dial was cranked.
I will give them credit now, having gone back and watched like the first half of Car Ranger. Oh my god, I'm glad they refilmed a bunch of shit.
Yeah, they
Like,
had to.
right, like I don't think I've seen. I think I've only seen like one or two monsters from Car Ranger that I remember seeing in Turbo that weren't the main villain. Um, but the one thing I will give Car Ranger credit over Turbo, at least Car Ranger made an eventual explanation for why they had the go karts. They were the cockpit to the mech.
Yeah.
They drove them into the mech, and I was okay with that explanation. Also, the lack of bombs makes this show great, much better.
Anyways, Zenkaiger. So, everyone gets cursed with bad luck. And I like how the monster kind of tricks them into, like, collecting tags.
Oh, fucking Jurin.
Jurin, like, he knocks Jurin's weapon to the ground, so Jurin has to pick it up, and here's your fortune.
Like, this is that point is like there's some monsters that they get that they're it's very clever, even if it's on accident.
And, like, Jurin, like, goes for, like, 20 seconds just punching him with his fist, too, before he picks his sword back up.
Like this show nails what it tries to do. I did have to expect up until Jordan picked up the his sword for him to just be the one who one shot.
To just not pick it up again.
Yeah, to just beat the crap out of the dude hand. Just
I won't fall for that.
You'd think he'd be the one who wouldn't. He is
But
the oldest.
it was important that he did.
Yes, it
So
was.
they're all in a bad situation now. Kaido tries summoning some legacy Sentai, but bad luck, he gets a trio that all died.
And or got really fucked up.
Or that. So they don't last very long. With no other choice, Majin pulls out her crystal ball and tries to read her own fortune. Super bad luck. The worst they've gotten yet. I do like how when they think she's crying, they're all like comforting, like, "Oh, it's not that big a deal. No, it's okay. Like, it's fine."
And this is the point where, like, I'm glad they acknowledge the truth. She sucks at giving fortunes.
My fortunes are always wrong, which means I actually have super good luck.
Good luck.
And she just gets on her feet and charges at the monster, fist a throwing.
Like, to me, this was a great Majin moment.
Right. Because what's important here wasn't that she got her ass kicked, it's that she stood up and tried.
Yep.
And she inspires the others, like, you're right.
And, like, I feel in this particular case, also accepted her shortcoming when it comes to, like, fortune telling.
Right. We'll take your fortune over his any day. We have super good luck. We'll win. And the following fight is the most chaotic mess of the team tripping over their own dick and hitting the monster. And
It's
it
so
works.
glorious, though.
And it's great. This is the last, like, normal episode because we're getting into, like, the 4-part finale after this. This is what we needed. This is a highlight
This is
of.
that break that is a highlight of everything that this show is.
Right, exactly. This is what this team is. They are goofy and, like, a bit disorganized. They're not your typical heroes. But even if they're fighting an uphill battle, no matter what circumstances are thrown at them, no matter how the odds are against them, they keep fighting forward and they go through.
Like, they are absolutely the definition of I will kick my own ass just to kick yours.
Full power, full force. They do it. They get it done. And when I was watching the scene, I was thinking about everything they've done to get to this point. The Vacation World episode, the magnet one where, like, all the metal is attracting to them. Like, every time the odds have been against them, every time the situation has seemed impossible, they keep going. The wind
Like, they
episode
barrel
last week
through.
where they literally had to fight, not a few episodes ago, where they're literally fighting against the wind. No matter
It's like,
what, they pull through.
they either bullheadedly push through, or that one brain cell finally activates and they figure a quote unquote workaround, like they did with the wind episode. Of, well, if it's only blowing our face, then we're not going to go forward. Fuck it, we'll run backwards.
And for this one, it's like there's no work around the bad luck. We just have to keep trying and not let it get us down.
Yep.
At one point, like, one of them trips over someone else who fell over, but they fall forward and still punch the guy.
Like, ugh. Like, this is a show for kids, and is like, I give the show credit for not, like, harping on, like, your standard child messages, because there are some Sentais that really did, but, like, this one, this was a good message for kids. That, yeah, bad luck sucks, but
Make
you
your
gotta work
own
through
luck.
it. God damn you. You know why I'm saying God damn you. You're lucky. God damn it. The sad thing is, I was already thinking about fucking Lucky, considering the fact that the damn animated birds came back. You know, the animated bird from when Kaito used the Q Ranger gear early on.
They tried to use it here to offset their bad luck and failed.
He failed miserably. But yeah, it's like it literally either make your own luck or push through the bad luck. In the words of the crow, it can't rain all the time.
We get to the mech fight. Maji's too tired out to go in, so it's just Kaito, Jurin, and Gawan. The monster, however, gives himself super good luck. They can't land a hit on him. This is going to be a tough one. And then Stacy, who is currently possessed by Geej, kind of looks over and goes, "Oh, when did they deploy a world? Oh.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that."
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna... And absorbs the power of the world itself into the palm of his hand and crushes it.
And we get the most accurate
No,
reaction from characters that were accurate to our own.
excuse me?
What?
And I'm not talking about the gear either, not the world gear. Like, no, the power of that world itself. Ichiro is in his lab watching the feed of like, what's the meaning of this? With the power of the world gone, it's just the base mech. Kudai test. So they finish it off. And the world gear left behind is blank. There's no world in it anymore. It's nothing.
Now for the most what the fuck?
So on the ground, Majin and Vroom drag Stacy over to Kaito like, tell them what you did.
Like, so I want to emphasize how much of a what the fuck this is. This entire show has been one what the fuck moment after another. Nothing compares to this. Explain.
So Stacy finally decides they're not going to let this... Sorry. They're not going to let this go, so I might as well tell them. I'm the one who created the worlds. I guess you could say I'm a god in that sense.
The fuck?
And that's where we leave off. And I messaged Vashi, what the fuck is going on?
Like, and in defense, you now know why I asked you if you'd finished the episode.
Yeah, because you want to make sure we were talking about the same thing. So this is Geech who's talking here, not Stacy himself. So, what? Is that why there's Boxing World and Vacation World? Because Geech created them?
Like, so during our discussion, I came up with my idea, is the fact that based on what we've been told for Dawn Brothers, Geej is part of the Oni clan.
Okay.
So, to me, that's why we factor in that it's self-proclaimed. It's like he may not have he either discovered a way to access the parallel world and then, create the gears and all that. Like, that could have been all him. Or he discovered a way to create the parallel world, and then yada yada, he got stuck in a bird. Because I don't know if or when we'll ever get that explanation, or if he's just always been a bird. It would seem weird that he would be a mechanical bird if he was part of an Oni tribe, but, stranger things have happened. There was a man possessed by a bear at one point. in another show. But yeah, it's like it could just simply be the he figured out a way to make parallel worlds, or he found a like the trigger that would create them. Like he may not have specifically created them, but like he found a way to like this is what created the idea of like, oh, everybody likes boxing. I'm gonna create a world just for boxing. Like that type of thing. Like there's multiple ways it could go, but in my head, I don't think him to be a god.
He's just comparing himself to a god.
Himself to God. Yeah, I think it's more that he discovered this while he was with the Oni clan, and then somehow got stuck with Toji Tendo.
I think one thing is clear though. We didn't predict this.
No, no, I don't think I could have ever.
Never.
Never.
Like, we were all on the train of, like, he's secretly the final villain.
No, no, hold on.
Not like this.
No, not like this. And to be fair, to understand, it's like how absurd this idea is to us. We have watched shows where a man literally punches God in the face. We watch another show where a character literally became God. And at no point did we think this was a thing.
We watched a show where, like, literal time travel was just a thing that happened.
They never explained that. It was just a thing that existed.
Yeah.
Now, which time travel are we referring to? The good one or the dumb one?
Either.
At least the good one makes sense. You know. I mean, hell, they literally used it for a fucking Marvel show. Sacred Timeline. It's just not a train. But at least there was a decent explanation for that. The time traveling for Zio wasn't like how
oh god, I forgot about Zio.
Yeah, because they didn't do it much.
I was thinking like Ryuki, Deno, Kiva. Like I forgot Zio was also
the closest. The only time travel we really got in that show was characters came from the future to this timeline, and that's it. That was all the time travel.
Like a couple of times they went to the past, but not a lot. Kabuto.
Yeah, they did because they had to. They used the time machines for it.
Yeah, they did. Zio went to the time traveled quite a bit. Kabuto.
At the beginning, they kind of ended that.
The movie Godspeed Love ends with time travel.
Yeah, it does.
Which sets up the main series.
Or the main series ends with the show, or with the movie, take your pick. Fucking circle. God, Kabuto breaks my brain every time I try to think about it.
I view it as the movie is the prequel. Like, that was the original timeline where the meteor fucked everything up. And then he takes the second meteor, time travels back to collide with the first one, so that the first one that hits is smaller, so that there's less damage. And that's what he gives his younger self the belt. That's what leads into the main series Kabuto. And his younger self, as he gets older, forgets who it was that gave him the belt and misremembers it as being his own dad, which makes more sense to him than his future self.
Right.
Like, a lot of people say they're like, oh, it's a plot hole because that's not who gave him the belt. It's like, no. He just misremembers it after 10 years.
I mean, to be fair, when he got the belt, he was buried in rubble.
And, like, it was just a guy that showed up out of nowhere to him. He doesn't know that was his future self, so he forgets about that part. 10 years later, he goes, oh yeah, it was my dad who gave it to me. Who else would have been there to do it?
Bootstrap paradox, man.
Oh.
Um, the only and like moving forward is like the biggest issue I have moving forward is like I expected there to be at least I wanted more of the plot to get started for the final boss or for the last four episodes before Zoc shows up, which based on the preview that is not the case, which I'm okay with, but at the same time is like I feel you know
It was important for Zox to not be in this episode specifically because this
right.
is the one that shows the core
This is
highlights of the Zenkaigers.
right. This is that the return to form before shit hits the fan.
Like, there were multiple times where I thought, like, this is the point where Zox would come in and save their asses. But he wasn't there to do that. They had to do it themselves, and it shows why they're good at what they do.
Right. It's more that whole we don't really need Zox, but he is a help.
This is the worst situation they've ever been in. They didn't need him to get out of it.
I'm not looking forward to this show ending, despite the fact that we're technically getting a season two.
I'm ready for it to end.
For me, it's that both because I'm wanting this to end just so I can get into the what the fuck is the next show. Because there are so many fucking questions based on what we've been told
I'm just ready to
or
see
what's
the
been
end of
rumored.
Stacy's story arc.
That too, finally.
Like
Which
that.
based on what we've heard, we may not get.
Um. Yeah, that's unclear.
That's
But
unclear.
in the preview, we see Stacy talking to the Zenkaigers and then faint and fall over. So that tells me that the real Stacy's going to wake up and talk to them.
God. Show again, as absurd as this show is, it's fucking great. And I will give this show credit. The main thing I give this show credit for is this is a great show to watch after you watch Revice. Given as weird and fucking dark as Revice has gotten, it's nice to have that la 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 of Zenkaiger.
Just the frolicking through the flowers.
Yeah, it's like having something that's more like comedic in nature that's not really super dark is a nice pairing for Revice at the moment.
All right. 1 month left. We're in the end game now.
Yeah, we are.
So thanks for
I have
joining.
a month to figure some shit out.
So thanks for
There will
joining
be
us
some
tonight.
changes somehow.
Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back next week. We'll be back next week, right, Vashi?
Yes, we will be back next week. Full power, full force. I've got me some Coke and G Fuel. I'll be here.
See you next time.